Welcome back to the Hood News Fantasy Football Podcast. This is episode 43, Week 10 waiver pickups. I'm your host, Keem. I got my boy with me, BBTB.
Bow, 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 bow.
Like we said, we're still looking for someone to replace MFB. Please submit your applications.
But we just cut him, bro. We cut him. That's it. It's over.
There is a position available. Please click the link in the description to apply. And we will be doing applications tomorrow because we record again Wednesday. So if you guys can fill out those applications, we can get you in on our Wednesday episode.
And the way you could possibly send your application is if you got to just join the Discord, send your application in the Discord, man. It's really simple.
Yeah, please talk to us in the general channel. Appeal to us why we should bring you on the podcast, why you want to replace MFB because of your football knowledge. Let us know. Show us your record in fantasy, and then we'll consider adding you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and jump into the QB waiver pickups. Not a lot this week. At the top, Daniel Jones as a streaming option. He's playing against Carolina this week. They're playing in Munich, Germany.
Munich.
Rostered in 11% of leagues. I think it's hard to put trust in Daniel Jones ever in
brother.
Life.
That man is like here and here.
Dude,
like
Mr.
Inconsistent, man.
Look, last week was the divisional matchup. This is a very risky streaming option. If you don't have any other option or you just don't feel comfortable with any options and you thought about Daniel Jones this week, we're telling you, so did we. So that's why he's on this list. Aaron Rodgers playing against Arizona. That offense hopefully is starting to turn around. The Jets are 3-6 and they're looking to win out to try and make it in the playoffs, sneak their way in. Rostered in 43% of leagues, Aaron Rodgers. If you need an option this week, go and get him.
He has a lot of weapons, man. So I feel like if you need another stream and he's somehow on your waivers, go get that, man. Offense is finally starting to flow.
Yeah. This is the thing with Aaron Rodgers. Well, not with Aaron Rodgers. Sorry. The thing with waiver pickups the rest of the season is a lot of them are just kind of either streaming options, stash options, or someone gets injured, so you go pick up somebody. These offenses are pretty set as they are now.
Yeah.
Besides injuries and stuff, there's not really going to be a big waiver pickup of the week. But we'll announce if there is must grab. This guy's going to get all the touches, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
So don't expect a lot out of these episodes. Especially this late into the season. On to wide receiver pickups. At the top, we have Ray McLeod. I was trying to say that fast. I don't know why. Rostered 16% of leagues. We put him in there because Drake London got injured in that game. The last game they played against is Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if London is not playing, Ray McLeod should be a decent start as a streaming option the next week.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say, I think he could be solid. He had only 3 targets in that game against Dallas, 3 receptions, and he got a touchdown. So
yeah,
it's more they're playing against the Saints, so it's just a volume option.
Exactly.
Demarcus Robinson, who's rostered in 13% of leagues, who has scored 2 touchdowns 2 weeks in a row. So he has a nose for the end zone, and this is it. I would probably not try to play him. I would stash him and make him do it again on my bench. If you need to play him, they're playing against Miami. Looks like a primetime game. So how do you feel about Demarcus Robinson?
Well, I feel like Demarcus Robinson, I think he's the official wide receiver 3 on that team. He might split touches with Tutu Atwell and Winnington, but he's majority of the time in the game. I know Puka got ejected, so his role got increased after that. But I feel like Demarcus Robinson is a decent flex this week. If you have no one to play, play him. It is I think a Thursday night game, Kimo? Is it a Thursday night?
No, it's not Thursday night.
Okay. Yeah, I apologize. But it's I feel like he could be solid. Maybe not this game, but I feel like for the next couple games he could be solid.
Yeah, I think what happens with these players is that he has a good week like this, 2 weeks in a row, and you go, oh, for sure, he can do it again. You put him on your lineup, and then he just gives you nothing. So I would avoid starting him, but he's worth a stash. Anything happens to Puka, anything happens to Cooper Cup, hopefully he can do it again, step up again.
Yeah.
Quentin Johnston, rostered in 16% of leagues, came back, missed 2 weeks due to injury, and he had a good day fantasy-wise. Just how do you feel about Quentin Johnston overall?
Not a big fan. I feel like he's just very inconsistent, and I don't see him having that crazy performance again. Just because of the way how he's been playing this season. There's also trade talks with T. Higgins getting traded today, so his value could like diminish completely.
Wait to see if the trade, because this episode is going to be published on Tuesday. Waivers is going to affect Wednesday. If T. Higgins gets traded to the Chargers, Quentin Johnston probably gets phased out of the offense, or he's a bench. Like, wait to see what he does.
Exactly.
But yeah, he had 118 yards, 4 receptions, a touchdown. So, a solid option. Solid game. One more name that we want to throw in there or in here is Nick Westbrook-Akine, who is a receiver in Tennessee and has had a touchdown 4 weeks in a row. So they play the Chargers next week. Probably a good test for him. I think he's a stash. You stash him. I don't think you look to play him this week.
Same.
But they have pretty good wide receiver matchup schedule rest of the season after this week against Chargers. So he is like a stash and wait and see. If he does it again, he might be flex worthy,
Yeah, if he does it against this good, if he does it again against this good Chargers defense, he can be a flexible option in your leagues with who his matchups are coming up.
Yeah, I think Ridley's taken the defense away from him, and he's able to get into the end zone. I mean, for a touchdown 4 weeks in a row is impressive for any player. So
yeah,
just a random name. He probably has just been. It's more so since D-Hop left the Tennessee Titans. Someone else has to fill that hole, and it looks like he's doing it. So
yeah,
solid overall, but a stash this week. We wouldn't consider playing him.
Yeah.
On to the running backs. Anything for the wide receivers? Is that it?
No, I'd probably just rank them though, just real quick.
Okay. For pickups, how do you feel about these guys? I mean, guys, we mentioned before, these pickups are not. They're not like really like, oh, must grab. These guys are number one.
This is desperation kind of. You need a stash.
A lot of these guys are stashes, and it's how we rank them is kind of, it's loosely ranked, but pick up, whoever you feel the best about, but we'll rank them just for BBTB. I'll go first because I usually just like to agree with BBTB and it makes it my job easier. I will go Ray McLeod if London's out. And then Quentin Johnston, then Nick Westbrook-Akine.
What if London is still playing?
If London's still playing, then probably I take Quentin Johnston number 1. I take Nick Westbrook-Akine number 2, and then I take DeMarcus Robinson number 3.
Oh wow. Okay. So if London's out, I'm still taking DeMarcus Robinson at the 1. I'm going McLeod at the 2, Johnson at the 3, and Akine at the 4.
Okay. Yeah, Akine's like I think he's just has a nose for the end zone, and so that's why I like him. But very risky option for sure with Mason Rudolph throwing the ball.
And then this week, Daniel Jones or Aaron Rodgers, just real quick. if you have to rank them.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh man.
That's what
Like
I'm
Daniel
saying.
Jones can't be that bad forever, right? Like he just
That's what
like
I'm
against
saying,
Carolina.
bro. It's
Dude, like
Carolina,
it's
man. He should do his thing. He's got
look, man.
neighbors. He's got
Yeah, but
Tracy.
I think
He's
Tyron
got.
Tracy just runs all over them, and then
Yeah.
you know what? Daniel Jones versus Carolina. I'm putting him over Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
I said it.
I'm
Don't quote me. Don't quote me.
I'm gonna
Don't
do the
clip
same
this.
thing. I'm gonna do Daniel Jones over Carolina first. Aaron Rodgers is not a bad play because I don't know if you remember 2 years ago where I think or
Bro,
3 or 4 years ago.
start calling you the historian, bro.
Listen, bro. But
I mean, 2 years
remember,
ago he played for Green Bay.
that's what I'm saying. So there, I don't know. It was 2, 3, or 4 years ago. I'm kind of blanking right now because it's a little late. But they lost to some BS kind of, or sorry, Aaron Rodgers threw a throw like a
He threw
fade
a
ball.
throw.
Sorry. He threw a fade ball into the corner, and the wide receiver wasn't looking, and the Cardinals picked it off and made a touchback, and that's how they lost the game. And so I think Aaron Rodgers, I get some revenge, bro. Even though from a few years ago, I know this is a stretch, but
Yeah, if
why
you see my
not?
face right now, I'm making a face at BMTV. Anyways, we're
He's
gonna
always looking
move
at me like
on
to
to
chill out, bro.
we're gonna move on to the running back pickups this week. At the top, I don't know why he's on top, but anyways, Cam Akers, rostered at 6% of leagues, was getting a majority of touches. Yeah,
Just a stash. Just a stash.
he's a stash. Yeah, Aaron Jones is the complete workhorse back. He's not giving
And
up
if
any
you're
time.
and if you're the Aaron Jones owner, go get Cam Akers. I would use my waiver pickup on him.
Now the Vikings traded for him, so they value him to some extent, right? So
Yeah.
Pick him up, stash him. You're not thinking about playing him at all. Another name here, Trey Benson, rostered in 16% of leagues, the backup to James Conner, got some work. I think James Conner left for a little bit, or he got banged up a little bit in that game, and then they plugged Trey Benson in, who ended up with like a massive, like a 50-yard touchdown or something like that. But he did his thing. So I would say he's also stash. Who knows? Maybe they just start working him into the offense more.
Yeah.
Him and DeMercado, who's rostered in 0% of leagues. I don't think you look to DeMercado. I think they just gave him a couple runs, and he ran all over Chicago. Was able to get a touchdown on them.
Yeah.
So Trey Benson's the priority, especially if you have James Conner. Stash him. He's only rostered in 16% of leagues. You want to ensure you're running back. And if you don't have James Conner, he could be a stash if you have a space on the bench. If not, I wouldn't look that way.
Mm-hmm.
Garendo, the running back for the Niners, who's on bye this week, rostered in 18% of leagues. Christian McCaffrey's practicing, so I wouldn't necessarily get your hopes up for Garendo. Mm-hmm. He's more of like you know what? I have a spot on my bench. Maybe no one puts a waiver claim in for Garendo. I'll pick him up, put him on my bench.
Yeah, definitely.
And then see what happens. You know what I mean? Because Jordan Mason injured, he had an AC joint, I think, injury, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And he might be healthy this week, but if they have no reason to rush him back in, then Garendo could get a start. And if Garendo gets a start against, this Tampa Bay defense, he could get, he did really good against Dallas. He had 14 attempts, 85 yards, and a touchdown. So he's a stash. These are not very good options, guys. And this is just kind of what's out there. And rostered less than 50% of leagues. Emmanuel Wilson, the backup to Josh Jacobs, did get into the end zone this week. Also stash. I know they have another running back there. I think his name's Marshawn Lloyd. I would
it's Wilson as the RB2.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they're going into the bye this week, so he is just a stash. Not really worth it much, especially going to the bye. One more player that I want to mention is Ray Davis, who has been kind of streaky and has had some games. He did have 4 rush attempts, 20 yards, but he had 2 receptions, 70 yards, and a touchdown. So a decent game against Miami.
Yeah.
If anything happens to
Cook.
James Cook, he's going to be in line for a good amount of work. So also a stash. I would not look to desperation play him in any event, but he could have a decent game here and there, and he could pick up, especially if James Cook gets injured.
Honestly, thinking about it, like looking at these guys, I wouldn't even waste your waiver claim. If you're like waiver claims 1 through 6, I would not waste a waiver claim for him.
Excuse me. I think if you have James Conner, maybe you get Trey Benson.
I was going to say also like Aaron Jones owners, maybe Cam Akers, if you want that protection. But
yeah, but if you don't have space on your bench, you have to drop somebody. I don't know about that. These guys are all pretty whatever. They're all kind of. I'm not even going to rank them.
Yeah.
These guys.
Chill.
Sorry. You guys can figure it out.
Yeah.
Tight ends. Taysom Hill, 37% rostered. I think we mentioned him last week. We did mention him last week. He's rostered in 30% of leagues. Had himself a game, got in the end zone. Definitely a good option. They use him around the goal line. They use him for gadget plays. He is a QB / tight end, hopefully in your leagues as well.
Swiss Army knife.
He did play against Carolina, so he was able to get, Carolina's not hard to rush on. He got a rush touchdown. So look for Taysom Hill in your waivers for tight end. At the top, actually should have been Mike Gesicki, who had the 2 touchdown game. Rostered in 13% of leagues. We talked about T. Higgins maybe getting traded off this team. And when T. Higgins is not there, which he wasn't there this game against the Raiders, Mike Gesicki performs. And the backup, or not the backup, but the rookie tight end they drafted tore his ACL. He's out for the season. So
it's pretty much Mike Gesicki.
Yeah, Gesicki's no longer competing with that rookie for any targets or anything like that. And if T. Higgins is out of that offense, he could be a very decent tight end ad. So look for Mike Gesicki on the waivers. Rostered in only 13% of leagues. That's about it. There's a couple of names that did decent this week. None worth looking at, really. You could possibly go get Hunter Henry, who had 8 targets this week. We've mentioned him almost every other week. His schedule gets a little bit better rest of the season, and Drake May likes him. So quick dump offs to Hunter Henry. He's a streamable tight end. Rostered in 36% of leagues, I think I mentioned. That's the only name I can think of. For these guys, I kind of rank it. How do you rank these guys? Between Gesicki, Hill, and Hunter Henry.
I'm going Hill Gesicki.
Yeah, man. You might be right. Oh, yeah. That's
just because of the Swiss Army knife. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, they use him for everything. You're not wrong. He's the safer bet. You might not be able to get him because he's already rostered pretty highly. So Gesicki's still a good ad for sure.
Yeah.
That's about it for the normal positions. We're going to get into some defense and kickers. Starting with the defense pickups, New England plays Chicago. And if you can pick up Chicago, they didn't do well against Arizona, so they might be on waivers. Either of those teams against each other. Chicago hasn't looked very good. New England's, working with Drake May. So either of those options could work. Atlanta plays the Saints. The Saints with no Olave,
no Shaheed,
no real offense, no Shaheed.
Yeah,
the Saints are not a good. You probably targetable if you have a defense. You can target the Saints.
You could target the Falcons, not Saints.
No, I'm saying defenses that are playing against the Saints. You can target those teams. Like you can pick up defenses against the Saints.
Yeah.
Giants versus Panthers. You put this on the list? Giants against the Panthers?
I did. I really did. I think Giants could be a decent kind of defense pickup.
Tell the podcast. Let them hear it. Go ahead.
Just saying, if you don't have a good defense, all the defenses are picked up, or people are stashing 2 defenses. you need some kind of miracle. Giants could possibly be the play. Miracle.
They would somehow miraculously screw you too. That's the funny part about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This is a desperation. Like, there's no one else available. Pick up the Giants' defense against the Panthers and hope that they don't do anything over there in Germany.
Yeah,
they don't get scored on like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to rank these defenses. These are all streamable options. I would probably go Atlanta versus Saints number one. Especially
I was about to say Atlanta versus Saints, Chicago versus New England, then New England versus Chicago. And then
Chicago versus New England at the top, but you're probably not going to get them. The roster in 59% of leagues, they're not readily available.
Yeah, but just in case if they're on the, just because you never know, people might have dropped them after last week versus Arizona. So
true, and the week before they didn't do so well, so that makes sense. The week before they played Washington, they only had 3 fantasy points. So, onto the kickers. Blake Groupie plays Atlanta, roster in 13% of leagues. We called Groupie out last week against Carolina. He had a decent game. Do you think they moved the ball up the field though? The Saints? I
do. With Kamara there.
Kamara, yeah.
Derek Carr knows how to get the ball to people for sure.
Kamara, he can get the ball to Kamara.
Like Carr knows how to push the ball down the field, but he does not know how to get the ball to Kamara. No, listen. That's true. That's what I'm saying. The Saints could push the ball down the field, but they can't score touchdowns. So, yeah,
makes sense. Cairo Santos, the kicker for the Chicago Bears, that offense is just not that good. So, he's rostered in 10% of leagues, so readily available. And then Chad Ryland, the kicker for the Arizona Cardinals, who's actually filling in. He's been filling in for what's that kicker's name? I forgot his name. But anyways, he's been good. Make sure that the actual kicker for the Cardinals isn't coming back. That would be very funny if you picked up Chad Ryland and then the actual Cardinals kicker comes back. So playing against the Jets, so they have a good red zone defense. So if they keep out of the red zone or out of the end zone, then the kicker gets points there.
The Cardinals kicker is Matt Prater, by the way.
Prater, that's his name. I forgot.
Yeah, but he's not supposed to be back till week 12. Just a little FYI.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Yeah, Chad Ryland, he's in play. I'm not ranking kickers. You guys can make your best decision on these.
Groupie at the 1, Santos at the 2, Ryland at the 3.
The big thumbs up if you're watching. A thumbs up.
Is it okay if I can get the balloons? I've gotten balloons before.
If you can make balloons show up, I'll give you props. That about does it. Sorry, guys. It's a very boring episode. If you listen to the whole thing, apologies. But hopefully, if you're on YouTube, you can skip to the part. There's chapters in there. You can go, I need a tight end or I need a running back or not much this week, guys. So,
pretty dry.
If you listened, hopefully you got what you needed out of it. That's it. That's it for this episode. We'll see you guys on the next episode where we go over the matchups for week 10 and we'll discuss all the injuries, everything that happened in this last week. And if there's any trades at the trade deadline, we'll talk about those too. So we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.